Right now, somewhere in your life, there is a plan you have already written in your head. You know the first move. You know the second move. You have known for months, maybe years, and you have done nothing. That is not procrastination. That is a slow, voluntary execution of your own future, carried out one comfortable afternoon at a time. You call it waiting for the right moment. You call it still thinking it through. You call it not the right time yet. Machiavelli called it something else. He wrote that never was anything great achieved without danger, and you have built an entire life around avoiding it. Every day you delay is a day you hand to someone else, someone who is not smarter than you, not luckier than you, just faster. Here is the belief we are going to kill in the next 25 minutes, that discipline is about motivation. It is not. Discipline is about the removal of the decision point entirely, and by the end of this, you will know the exact move that separates the men who execute from the men who die average, still waiting for the right moment that was never going to arrive on its own. We will get to that move, but you are not ready for it yet. You are going to move through 5 phases. Each one strips away a piece of the excuse you've been running for years. By the end, you will not have a new plan. You will have no reason left to delay the one you already have. Let's start with why you're still standing still. Phase 1, the psychology of hesitation. You think you are cautious. You are not cautious. You are comfortable. And comfort has learned to disguise itself as wisdom. Every time you say, I need more information, I need to plan more, I'll start Monday, you are not protecting yourself from a bad decision. You are protecting yourself from the discomfort of a decision at all. Here's what the broke and the stuck never see. Hesitation feels like safety, but it behaves like debt. It does not disappear when you ignore it. It compounds. The version of you that could have started 2 years ago was weaker, less informed, less ready than you are today. And he still would have beaten you, because he would have 2 years of mistakes behind him instead of 2 years of nothing. Think of the wolf and the sheep. The wolf does not wait for the herd's permission to move. It sees the gap, and it is already inside it before the sheep even register the sound. You have spent years training yourself to be the sheep, waiting for the herd to move first, waiting for consensus, waiting to be told it is safe. The wolf does not check if it is safe. The wolf checks if it is possible. You know a coworker like this, the one who has had the same business plan for 10 years. Every year, a new excuse. Every year, the plan gets a new logo, a new name, a new spreadsheet, and it never gets a first customer. He is not lazy. He works hard at avoiding the 1 hour that actually matters. That hour is the one where he has to act without a guarantee. And so he polishes forever, because polishing feels like progress and costs him nothing. Meanwhile, the calendar empties behind him. This is not about laziness. This is not about lacking a plan. This is not about needing more resources. This is about a nervous system that has been trained to treat action as danger and inaction as safety, when the truth is the exact opposite. Every day you don't move, the world moves without you, and it does not send a warning. Think too of the hunter and the herd. The herd survives by staying still, by blending in, by never being the one who moves first and draws attention. You were not built to hunt anything living off the herd's instincts. You are hungry for something the herd's stillness will never give you. And yet, you keep grazing. You do not need fortune's permission to move. You only needed an excuse to keep waiting for it, and today, that excuse is gone. Stay with me. This gets worse before it gets useful. Phase 2, the hesitation tax. Here's the part they never teach you. Every hour you spend waiting for the perfect moment is an hour you are taxed, silently, by people who never wait at all. Seneca wrote that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. You are not short on time. You are hemorrhaging it. One, I'll do it later at a time. And later never sends you a bill until it's due in full. Picture the gambler at the table who folds hand after hand, waiting for the perfect cards. He tells himself he's being smart. He is not being smart. He is bleeding out in small amounts while the players around him take mediocre hands and build a stack. By the time his perfect hand finally comes, he has nothing left to bet. That is you, with your someday idea, your someday business, your someday body, your someday life. And here is what should terrify you. Somewhere right now, a rival with half your talent and a tenth of your preparation is shipping the mediocre version of your idea. He is not waiting to be ready. He does not care if it's embarrassing. He cares that it exists, and the market is already learning his name while you are still refining a plan nobody has seen. You have a friend like this too. The one who has been about to launch the same six-figure idea at every dinner for 5 years running. He talks about it with the confidence of a man who already built it. He has built nothing. The idea has become a costume he wears at parties instead of a business he risks failing at, because as long as it stays a plan, it can never be judged. And as long as it can never be judged, it can never disappoint him. It also can never pay him. This is not about talent. This is not about resources. This is about speed. Robert Greene called timing the most underrated form of power, because the man who moves first sets the terms, and the man who moves second spends his life negotiating on someone else's ground. You feel it, don't you? That quiet dread when you scroll past someone who did the thing you were planning to do? That is not jealousy. That is your own nervous system telling you the truth you keep refusing to hear. The tax is already being collected, whether you act or not. The only question is whether you're the one collecting interest or paying it. Now watch how the game actually works, because most people quit right before this next part. Phase 3, the Machiavellian method. Burn the boats. Sun Tzu called it death ground, a position with no line of retreat, where soldiers who cannot run finally fight like they have nothing left to lose. He warned that the moment retreat is possible, some men will always find a way to take it. So the sharpest commanders removed the option entirely, and men who had been timid one day became men who could not be stopped the next, not because they changed, but because their choices did. Machiavelli said it in a colder way. Men never do good unless necessity drives them to it. Not desire, not motivation, necessity. You have been waiting for a feeling that was never going to arrive on its own, when the only real ignition switch is a situation you can no longer walk away from. This is not about motivation. This is not about willpower. This is not about waiting to feel ready. This is about removing the option to hesitate in the first place. You do this by making commitments that cost you something if you break them. You tell someone the deadline publicly, so backing out means humiliation instead of just disappointment. You spend the money before you feel ready, so the debt forces the work. You quit the option that was quietly funding your hesitation, so
there is no soft landing left to fall into. This is the asset you're not tracking, the size of your retreat. Right now, your retreat is enormous. You can quit at any point with zero cost, so of course you're not moving. There is no wound in staying still. The moment you make retreat expensive, movement becomes the cheaper option, and your own nervous system will start pushing you forward instead of holding you back. Here's what the broke never see. They think discipline is a personality trait some people are born with. It is not. It is architecture. It is the death ground you put yourself on before you needed the willpower to keep walking forward. Rome did not fall because its enemies were strong. It fell because comfort had made retreat the default. And a people who can always retreat eventually forget how to advance. Phase 4, the momentum weapon. Once you're moving, something changes that no amount of planning could have given you. Momentum builds its own leverage. The first action is the hardest one you will ever take, and every action after it gets cheaper. You know this. You've felt this. The hardest part of the run was always the driveway, and once you were past it, your body forgot it ever wanted to quit. You cannot think your way into confidence. You cannot plan your way into readiness. You cannot wait your way into courage. Confidence is a byproduct of action taken before you felt ready, not the other way around, no matter how many books promise you otherwise. Here is the version of you that terrifies the version of you sitting still right now. The one who started today, badly, sloppily, without a perfect plan, and who, 1 year from now, has a mountain of evidence that the plan works because he stopped debating it and started building it. Meanwhile, the you who waited for certainty is still refreshing the same 3 tabs, looking for the version of the future that arrives without risk. That future does not exist. It never did. Remember the Sunday night dread, that quiet wait before the week starts? You've always blamed it on the job, on the boss, on the alarm. It was never about the job. It is the sound of a project you have not started, a life you keep postponing, showing up uninvited in the 1 hour you can't distract yourself from it. Kill the project that causes the dread, and the dread has nothing left to attach itself to. This next move separates the owners from the owned. Stack small, ugly, immediate actions on top of each other until the pile is too large to ignore. Momentum does not require a plan. It requires a first domino, falling into a second one, falling into a third, and by the 10th, you are no longer trying to start. You have already started, and starting was the only part that was ever hard. You do not need the 10th domino today. You do not need the plan finished today. You need 1 domino, falling, right now, while the willpower is still warm. Phase 5, the point of no return. Now you're ready for the move I promised you at the start of this video. The one I said would get skipped by anyone still looking for comfort. It is this. Stop deciding whether to act and start deciding only when. The moment you allow whether back into the conversation, you have already lost.
Because weather is where hesitation lives and breeds. Every person who has ever built something that outlived them made this exact trade. They closed the door on weather permanently and left themselves only the question of when, which is a question action can always answer. This is not a productivity hack. This is not a morning routine. This is not a 5-step checklist you'll forget by Thursday. This is an identity execution. The version of you who negotiates
with hesitation every morning has to die because he cannot be edited into someone decisive. He can only be replaced. Think about the parent who worked 40 years at a job he hated, telling himself every year that next year was the year he'd finally start the thing he actually wanted. He died with the plan in a drawer, untouched, and the family remembers a good, tired man, not a man who ever got to find out what he was actually capable of. That is the generational cost of hesitation. It does not only cost you, it costs everyone who was waiting to see what you would become. The stakes were never just your Tuesday afternoon. They were the version of your children who grows up watching someone execute instead of someone wait. They were the name people say with respect instead of pity at your funeral. They were the difference between a life that happened to you and a life you built on purpose, brick by ugly brick, starting today. You feel that, don't you? The cold clarity settling in? Good. That means the old you, the one who was going to watch this and do nothing tomorrow anyway, is already starting to die. Let him. So here is who you become on the other side of this. Calm, dangerous, unbothered by the noise of people still debating whether to start, because you already started, and starting was the only thing that ever separated you from them. There is a price. Isolation, some of it, because the people around you built their identity around waiting too, and your movement will make them uncomfortable before it makes them proud. Patience, more of it than you want, because momentum compounds quietly before it compounds loudly, and you will have to keep moving before anyone claps. And the death of the comfortable version of you, the one who called hesitation being responsible, that version does not get to come with you. The broke version of you has to die today, not tomorrow, not after one more plan, today, in the next 24 hours, with one action too small to be impressive and too real to be denied. There is a deeper move, a way to compound this into something the public feed is too soft to teach, reserved for people who have already proven they can execute the basics without flinching. That is a conversation for another day, for people who are already moving. Comment, "I move first," if it applies to you. I will not be checking. The ones who needed to hear this already left to go do something about it.